Strong Black Super Chemist. We're at part 3. My thoughts on, I did 5 video series just previous to this video about a woke podcaster and his video. And I was talking in the last video about, what was I talking about? Oh, the family unit. Yeah, see, this guy's problem is these woke people, right? Right? The problem is the family unit. You know what I mean? Like, they blame it on the internet, blame it on this, blame it on that. No, it's because the family unit sucks. Because the parent let the person, well, there might be a 5-year-old on the internet watching this video, and it's all racist, and it's all... Why is your 5-year-old on the internet watching it? Where are the parents? That's the problem. Is the family unit. That's the ultimate division. See, before this 100-year plan that the deep state has, right? Before that, they never wanted to destroy the family unit. That was never part of their plans. They always had the same plan: destroy the economy, buy everything up, and then flood the market back with money. You know what I mean? So that they can, all the property they bought up for pennies now goes back up in value. You know what I mean? That was their plan. And the wars. They want to have wars, so that they can fund the munitions. They can fund. Afterwards, they can actually fund the loans that the government needs to do the war. They make money, and then the World Bank, where they want to basically do the same thing as the Federal Reserve Bank, but in other countries. But they never wanted to destroy the family unit. They always wanted us divided into color and skin and all this other crap. But they never really wanted to destroy the family unit. The 100-year plan, it's the ultimate division, okay? Without families, you have nothing to fight for. Without kids, in your family that you care about, you want society to be good. But when society, put it this way, when society's crap, right, and Nazi regime people don't want their kids to grow up in that, so they do stuff to try to stop it. But if you don't have kids and you're living in a Nazi regime, you don't try to really stop it because you feel like it's futile. You're by yourself, and you don't have no kids, so who cares? You're more selfish, and all you care about is, well, what can I get out of this? I mean, it's a Nazi regime. I got to live with it. How can I best manage it? You know what I mean? How can I get at least stuff out of it, or help out from it? But I totally lost my train of thought. So I'm going to go on to something else. So the family unit needs to be fixed, okay? It's not... See, even if you get rid of all this fictitious racism that they're just making up, basically, even if you get rid of all of it, the family unit is still going to suck, right? If you don't admit what the problem is, just like in the AA, if you don't admit what the problem is, you can't fix the problem, because you'll never fix a problem if you don't know it's there, right? And you only know it's there if you admit it's there. You look at it and say, oh, that's a problem. What else did I want to bring up? How privileged can you be? Like, even this thing about, because I was saying about how they're just making... If there's so much racism, why are all the examples of stupid, like all the people are white or all the people are black, or they're a hoax? They're just an outright hoax, you know what I mean? Or they're just stupid, you know what I mean? Like a white person disagrees with a black person. Oh, look at that racism there. Look at this. A white man with a dog walked by a black man and the dog barked. Oh, it's racism. That's a microaggression. Why? If there's so much real racism, why don't they ever... This actually proves there's no racism. Because if there was real racism, they wouldn't show us all these hoaxes, all these things where everyone's the same color, all these things where it's so ludicrously like an Indian... they wouldn't be pointing... Why would you point at an example? This Indian man made a joke about himself. Indian people. That's racism and hate. Not just racism, but full-blown hate. Why would you say that? If there's so many... Why wouldn't you just point at the examples where people are actually being blatantly hateful and racist? Why would you pick out these stupid things? If there's so much of it there, That literally proves there is none. You know what I mean? But look at the cops. Okay, even if you didn't know the stats, that actually twice as many white people get unarmed white men and unarmed black men. There's about 24 white people killed every year and about 12 black people. That's actually pretty good, man, for 330 million people in this country. But, and you might say, well, still, there's, 4 times as many white people as black people in this country. And that's true. But black people overwhelmingly do more violent crime, murder, rape, that type of thing, where it's violent. They actually do 50% of it. Okay, even though they only constitute, black population is 13.5%, but if half of that, right, it's a little under 7%, because women really don't do as many violent crimes as men. You know what I mean? So if you take them off the thing, there's only about 6-7% of the population is black men. And yet somehow they do 50% of the violent crimes. So that's actually pretty good. That's actually saying we're not racist if it's only doubled. Because they're doing, 10 times as much violent crime. So it doesn't matter how much the population is black. It matters how much crime they're doing. You know what I mean? So if they're doing 50% of the violent crime, unarmed man getting shot, that's not actually bad. Where 12 blacks and 24 whites. You know what I mean? I think it should actually be probably more black people getting shot unarmed, man, because they're doing overwhelmingly more violent crime. But my whole point is here, okay? If there's so many, if they think that there's thousands, because they think that 12 black people, unarmed men, they think it's 1,000 a year, hundreds of thousands, millions. There's only 330 million people in the country. There ain't even that many black people, you know what I mean? But they think millions of them are being just shot by cops all day long, by white cops. But my point is, if that was true, why don't they pick out a good black man? You know what I mean? Like, what was this Charlotte thing, I think, was what, George Floyd or something? Yeah, he's gang rapist, right? Probably a pedophile. I can't remember, because every time I see a black man, the whole black community is standing up for it. It's always a pedophile, murderer, gang rapist, you know what I mean? Rap sheet a mile long. They punch old people in the face, try to kill people, kidnap children, kidnap adults. It's like, if it's happening so often, why don't you why is it always such a horrible black man that you riot for? Why are all the examples of a horrible... Put it this way. My thing is it's not about racism, okay? And that's why they can only pick out these things where it's a horrible, horrible... And half of the time, too, it comes out later that it was a lie. Like that George Floyd died because of the cops. That was a lie. Then it comes out in the autopsy and whatever. Oh, that was a lie. He died because he was chugged up on so many things. An elephant would have been dead. But what? So I'm saying that they're only killing unarmed black men because the same reason they're killing unarmed white men. These people were acting crazy when they got arrested, and you know what I mean? And even if the cops were being unfair, right? Obviously, it had nothing to do with their color, right? Their skin color. It had to do with they were jerkwad assholes who were gang rapists and murderers and whatevers. And yeah, I'm sure a lot of times the cops were overly whatever, you know what I mean? But it wasn't because of their skin color. Otherwise, the statistics wouldn't be the way they are. You know what I mean? 12 blacks compared to 24 whites. When the blacks are doing 50% of the, whatever, the violent crime. Obviously, has nothing to do with skin color. And on top of that, if it did have something to do with skin color, why don't you just pick out one of the black people that are good and not a gang rapist and a child murderer and a child rapist and a child kidnapper? Why don't you just pick one of them out? Because there are none. Because why? Why are there none that they can't pick out? Because none of the black people are getting shot by cops because of racism. They're getting shot by cops because they're either guilty, okay? They thought but it's because they're garbage. Because they're gang rapists, and when they got pulled over, they looked at their thing in the computer, they see they got a million things wrong, and if they didn't do that, they can tell by their actions after they pull them over, you know what I mean? If they're acting all crazy and they ain't doing what they're told, you know what I mean? When the cop tells you to get out of the car, you get out of the car. You don't, whatever. Everyone knows what you're supposed to do when a cop pulls you over. If they're acting all weird and stuff, that's why the cops started being overly aggressive, because they were acting like jerks. And to think that they were acting like jerks because he's, black, he was acting like a jerk because he's a gang rapist. That's his personality, man. But why are these all hoaxes, and why do they always point to, why can't they point to an example of real racism? Why is it always fake or hoaxed or stupid? Why can't they point to real white supremacists? Why do they only point to black ones or brown ones that are supposedly white supremacists, even though that makes no sense? Why don't they pick out a good black man, since it's all about, these black people are getting shot by cops because of their skin color? Why don't they just pick out a good one that they got shot? Oh, I get it, because they're not getting shot because of that. They're getting shot because they're assholes. When they got pulled over, they acted like assholes, and we know that because their rap sheet is always a mile long of rape and murder and child pedophilia. But this actually, all this stuff actually proves the opposite of what they're saying. It proves there is no racism, right? And I want to bring up about the... I'm running out of time. I might not be able to. All right, let's move on to this. I gave the example about two people walking by each other, a white man and a black man. If one calls the other one a jerk, okay, or say two white men or two black men, and one calls the other one jerk, we would say that that's not cool. We'd say he's a jerk, and then we'd go on for our life. We'd say, well, you call him names back. He calls you a jerk, you call him a jerk back. And you just walk by calling each other's names, and then you just forget about it, and everyone goes on to their life. It's not good, but we ain't gonna upset anyone in society to fix it because it's stupid. It's just a little whatever. It's nothing. But somehow, if it's a white man and a black man and they walk by each other, okay, even if it is racist, let's say the white man calls the black man an N-word. How is it really any different than two white men or two black men calling each other a jerk? You just call the person a name and walk on. It doesn't change anything in the black man's life. He doesn't lose his job and whatever because this white man called him an N-word. It's literally no different than the white man calling him a jerk. But you race hustlers, you try to make it into something that is like slavery or whatever. No, it's just... If you have no racism in your society, then when racial slurs have no real meaning at that point. They're just the same as saying you're a jerk.